So the question was asked, how do we do some of these missions when it gets to difficulty 50? The mission wasn't exactly specified, so we'll go through a set of them at this difficulty, starting with last box before the highway. So first up, I'm going with all shooters. And part of that is because they start off charged, so everybody's got a free charge point. Very, very handy, of course. We want Rick as the boss. I am happy to do this right off the bat. The reason that I'm willing to do that is because we get a couple of kills, and then that means his heirloom can kick in. That means we've got a chance of getting some insta-kills with Rick. Now, he's opening the box. Is that a problem? Not really, no, because he can still turn around depending on whether he can actually see and is in range of what Yumiko is shooting at. He can shoot at what she's shooting at. We got some big old scary monsters here that we are going to have to deal with. So we want him crippled at the very least. We want these guys crippled as well. We need these guys slowed down too. So, busting out some of the tools, some of the supports. So far, so good. You, sir, are a little too close for comfort. Okay, we're looking at crippling, stunning, anything that we can. Somebody's got to open that. And then what we could do just to seal the deal. Why not, huh? That's what tools are there for. Quinn works best at sort of close range. We'll just do that. I've got to remember that the Sunset Requiem shoves walkers around, and that's not always the best thing for us. I should be a bit more cognizant of that. And then, of course, all we're looking to do is get that gate open, get the heck out of there. Done. Of course, when you're at these higher difficulties, you often get tools as rewards for completing the missions, so you can kind of feel pretty free and easy to use them up. There we go, first one down at difficulty 50. What's next? One down, kill the boss walker. Okay, this one, I kind of like to have Mr. Mercer here, or an other assault character, especially weapons where I can have extra range, hit lots of things. We're going to be blowing up those. Barrels. That is a resource which is very useful to us. Right. We wanted him on fire. That is for damn sure. I am tempted not to use Yumiko's charge points. I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to do that. Now, he is on fire. Our mission is to kill him. The fire will do that. You might even be able to get an insta-kill. But here's what I'm looking at. I want to just let the fire do its work. We use a charge attack here just to make sure that we get that done. You, sir, need to be crippled. I think this is the safest thing. I'm going to get rid of that risk there. That's just a big explodey thing that we're stood right next to. I could see problems happening if we don't deal with it, so let's deal with it. Let's get rid of these guys because they're the closest. There you go. Insta-kill kicking in. Something that's very, very handy. on these kinds of difficulties. Doesn't matter how big the target is, doesn't matter how tough it is. Keep on hitting it with Rick, and eventually the insta-kill will kick in. Okie dokie, what's next? I might get to the Plights. If I get to the Plights today, I'll do some videos for those. I don't usually get that far. I don't usually get this far in the weekly challenge. It tends to sort of slow down. I enjoy some of the other game modes more, but right, right. This one can be tricky. I think that we benefit really from having all shooters again, mate. I think that's a bit more your sort of speed. I think that's a bit more your sort of weapon. We'll swap that with Quinn. Do we want him to have the cookies? So this one's a tricky one. Lost in the Snow is definitely a tricky one. We have a threat counter, and yet we're going to be making a lot of noise. We go in here to do the spawn block thing. Y'all know what that is. If we weren't here, walkers would come flooding in from that icy lake above us. We should be able to now get away from there. I think enough turns have passed. They only spawn from there for a limited amount of turns. Okay, so there they are. Okay, great. Well, it's not too much of a problem. Yes, I am using up the cookie very, very early, but I'm getting those kills so that the heirloom is activated. You get these guys. Nope, I need you to be crippled. Thank you very much. We're being quite liberal here with our charge points. I mean, they're there to be used, so the more kills that we get, obviously, the more inspiration builds up for our characters, and that is a very good thing for us that we can make the most of. You do that. Yumiko, can you make it so that our guys finish this guy off? Brilliant. I want to get some kills really with Quinn and with Yumiko to get their inspiration developed. Quinn's got 1 point. That means he's causing a little bit more damage with every attack. You know, that's very, very welcome. But we could do with more. I'm going to hit that tank. Going to hit him again. This is just so that Grimmy appears above his head, and he is now subject to being insta-killed. Come at us, bro. Get insta-killed. Really pushing for that. I want as many hits on him as possible. The more hits that we get, the more chance that insta-kill is going to kick in. Good. Hey, Lishu. Cat's come to join us. Gonna have a whole bundle of walkers coming in next turn. Yeah, I know. I think she disagrees with my strategy. I don't care. I'm the one who's playing. She doesn't even have opposable thumbs. Let's get those guys just distracted. Let's get this searched, because I mean we've got to search those creaky, rickety snow piles that make the sound of a door squeaking open for some reason. That is the mission after all. Good, we got them stunned. That's just very, very welcome. These guys are distracted and they are burning, so that's good. I think we go for this. Man, Rick, stop getting the kills. You've already got maximum inspiration. Let's see. Quinn, let's do this. Make the most of your leadership trait. These guys are close and annoying. Just going to move Yumiko back just because, yeah, okay. There was a walker that potentially could have reached her. It was not very likely that it would, but it was a possibility. Possibility that I didn't like the look of. It would have been lovely if you'd have been stunned, sir. We're being shoved back, but not too bothered. Let's get these guys cooking. All of them. You, sir, should die. On this icy stage, you can see how useful Incendiary is. Setting these walkers alight, very, very helpful. Yeah, come on, let's try and push for some progress right here. Good, Quinn got the K there. That means that he gets some charge points. It means his inspiration goes up. Oof, cleaning house, baby. Let's get these guys crippled. I don't want to search that. I think that we'll be creating problems for us. That guy will get us. It's fine. Taking it slow and steady, basically. You've got to be at the very least crippled. I want you tagged as well, i.e. I want the Grim Reaper above your head, meaning that you are subject to being insta-killed. Slow these guys down, give them a bit more good news as well. Okay, well the good thing is that the only thing that's spawning now are regular walkers. Now we don't want to underestimate them. We don't want to get under the false impression that they are not a risk to us. But they're not tanks, they're not the big scary types of walkers, so you know, they're not as tough to deal with, even though, again, we don't want to underestimate them. Good chance of getting some kills or stunning these walkers. You're going to burn. Bit of a bloody nuisance that you're there, because you're still getting in the way of us searching this, or are you? You sort of are, because this guy's not crippled yet. He would have been able to get Rick if I'd have moved him to search that snow pile, so that wasn't really an option. Every new weapon has that thunderclap sound effect before it fires. I don't know why that is. It seems to be a thing. Death Reaper, the Sunset Requiem. Great. I mean, you do start to get some nice rewards at the end of, you know, towards the end of Weekly Challenge. I will say that. Okay, so that's 3 missions down. We've got 3 missions left. Again, if I do get to the Plight, then I'll do it. But so through the wire, I think a really good bet here is Mr. Mercer. This. Again, I don't want to get too cocky, but I don't think that this is a particular mission that poses that much of a challenge. One of the key things, and I'll always say this, get these walkers on fire ASAP. Sure, it takes a long time for them to burn, a long time, but slow them down, hit them hard. What we could do is we could all move up here, I suppose, and we'll see about rope-a-doping them. I'm thinking about that Commonwealth Walker. He obviously is much more resistant to status effects, and we're relying on status effects quite a lot here. But if we rope-a-dope him, if we get him, give him the runaround, if we get him taking a very inefficient route to us, then that doesn't matter. We're just going to keep on double tapping him. Whether he's affected by status effects or not doesn't matter. He will eventually ball. Just gonna go here just so we get this guy on fire. Again, don't forget to rope-a-dope them if you need to. Move everybody to the top of the screen, then just start going around, just to start Benny Hilling them, basically. This shouldn't be a mission that really presents too much challenge. It's all about the shooting, obviously. I'm sure you can do it with melee characters, absolutely. But because Rick is a ranged character, he's a shooter, I think that having an all-shooter team is beneficial. Yumiko, bit of an MVP there. What's next? Fish in a barrel, kill walkers. Okay. Alright, okay. Yeah, I mean this one sucks. It really does. It's just I think it's just you got to have the right gear for this one. I can't really think of any other way to sort of say it. We're not going to use Mercer. I want characters who are fully charged. Rickety Rick. Have Carol's cookies. I mean, at least with this mission, you know, whether you've done it or not, pretty soon on. Something that I have found myself using is, what are they called? Flipping flares. We're going to use our charge attacks pretty flipping early. It's these Commonwealths that I'm kind of concerned by, really. I think what we could do is we could give them a little treat, a grenade. So I don't really want to be redoing this mission at any point. Cause some extra damage, makes them much more susceptible to status effects. Good, we needed you stunned, we needed you at least crippled. Good, we got one of the Commonwealths stunned. We've got both of them stunned. You're not on fire, but that's okay. We've got a couple of stragglers here. It's amazing we haven't actually killed anyone. You look at that kill count, it says that we haven't actually killed anyone yet. Which is always kind of funny when that happens. But we can get the most walkers if we shoot there. Let's just get that done. People might say, well, what do I do if I don't have all of the tip-top gear, the best weapons and stuff like that? My response would be, I'm not entirely sure. What you can do is there's lots of stunnable walkers, so maybe have warriors with weapons that'll knock them back, like maces and things. If you've got bruisers, you can stun most of these walker types, although, again, the Commonwealths will be a problem. Maybe you could bring Ezekiel as the boss. It's a tough mission, and I think it is, quite frankly, a bit dependent on who you have access to and what gear you have. I won't often say that. Almost always tactics, strategy, team selection matters more, but in this one you've got to have a bit of gear. Something you can get your hands on very easily, no matter who you are, what level you're at, is some tools. Throw some flares out. Ideally get them on fire first, throw some flares out to distract them, grenades, stun grenades, things like that. It's just a tough one. It's a tough one. There's no two ways about it. BBQ. Do I want Mr. Mercer? Yeah. Being able to set targets light when they're big and tough, and it's this kind of difficulty, very, very important, I would say. I think I want you staying the hell where you are right now. This is a little bit risky. We're hitting a lot of targets all at once. We're getting a lot of attention on us. This is going to be 4 walkers that know that we're here and are going to be advancing towards us. a strong case can be made for, hey look, try and deal with these guys one at a time. Which we are resolutely not doing right there. Try and cause some big damage. Those charge points are there to be used. Oh, we've got another one involved. What we could do... I'm trying to remember the exact rules of this. I think he should be ensnared, yes. So that's a great way to slow guys down. Can only target one at a time. Well, unless you're Maggie, and then you can kind of do two at once, can't you? Good way of using her. Again, you might not have a nail gun. But you can see how there's some strategic principles that apply. What we're doing is we're just trying to slow these goons down, basically. I mean, that's what we're all about. Ooh, Maggie hasn't got tactical. That's worth remembering. Tactical is an absolutely fantastic trait to have on any piece of armor. Really makes a diff. Now these guys are going to burn, so we don't need to worry about them so much. Let's bear in mind that McGaggy does not have tactical. Let's get her into position first and then shoot. And just to be damn sure, we're gonna cripple these guys. I was 99% sure that they would burn. But just to be sure, let's make sure that nobody is in range of them. And nobody's even got their inspiration up. You can see that we've killed a lot of walkers. We're not getting any XP for them dying from the fire either. We're not building up our inspiration. Therefore, Rick's insta-kill ability from his heirloom is not kicking in. You know, these are all considerations, but it's the question of, do you want to get through the mission, or do you want to do it in style, getting all the XP? When it gets to this kind of difficulty, I don't care. I want to just do the mission and survive. Take that, get rooted. Got him in a holding pattern. Again, we are exemplifying one of those principles that usually stands. If you want a mission like this, deal with these things one at a time. Looks like we've got a little bit of attention from this chap over here. Let's get him on fire ASAP. Let's cripple him. I mean, it's the fire that's doing the work. You can see how many shots we have pumped into this nearby tank, this one that we keep on hitting. Our attacks are barely doing anything. What matters is him being on fire. If we have charge attacks, sure. Especially if we've built up some inspiration, then they'd probably be making a mark. But at this kind of difficulty, your standard attacks, you can't really rely on them to do very much. You need to be inflicting statuses on things, ensnaring them, crippling them, igniting them, that kind of stuff. You can just see that going like, hey look, I'm going to bring my best guns and I'm just going to shoot them. It's not going to work, not unless you are doing what we're doing here, getting them in a holding pattern. Can we get some XP off of you? We'll only get the XP if we actually kill him with an attack. Again, you might not have these characters up to this level. You might not have those weapons. The idea is, though, what principles were we trying to put in place? We were trying not to take on too many at once, and if we could, we wanted to find ways to manage them. We didn't use any tools there. And again, no matter what level you're at, no matter how experienced you are, any of that kind of stuff, you've got access to tools, you've got access to supports. Never forget them. You know, something that we could have done, we had a lot of walkers, a lot of those tanks at the start were closing in on us. What if we hadn't been able to slow them down sufficiently? What if the fire wasn't working quick enough? Throw a flare out there. That buys us a good couple of turns for the fire to keep working. It pushes them back. And we are at last box before the highway. I think that would do for this video. Again, the request was, how do I do these missions when we get to sort of difficulty 50? Well, there we go. Hopefully that's a good indication. When you get to Plight, usually though the same tactics would work, but just it depends what the Plight throws at you. I often find myself using a lot more tools, definitely, in the Plight missions. I might find myself swapping Rick out for another hero, although he's done me very well for this one. And hopefully for you too. But we'll call that a video for there. Again, if you've got any specific questions about any particular missions or anything, or anything in the game, please do let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.